Imagine a garden bathed in the soft glow of the moon. The leaves shimmer with an otherworldly light. The flowers seem to hum with a quiet energy. This is the magic of moon gardening, an ancient practice that connects us to the rhythms of nature. For centuries, people have observed the moon's influence on the tides and the seasons. They noticed how the moon's phases seem to affect the growth of plants. This awareness led to the practice of moon gardening, a way of synchronizing planting, pruning, and harvesting with the lunar cycle. Moon gardening is about working in harmony with nature's rhythms. It's about tapping into the subtle energies of the moon to enhance the vitality of your garden. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting, incorporating lunar phases into your gardening practices can be a rewarding experience. Join us as we delve into the enchanting world of moon gardening. Discover the secrets of planting by the moon and unlock a deeper connection with your garden. Let's embark on this journey of growth, guided by the celestial dance of the moon. The lunar cycle is a powerful force that influences life on Earth. Just as the moon's gravitational pull affects the tides, it also impacts the moisture levels in the soil. This in turn affects the movement of sap within plants. The lunar cycle can be divided into two main phases, waxing and waning. The waxing phase is a time of growth and expansion, beginning with the new moon and culminating in the full moon. During this time, the moon's light increases, and the sap in plants is drawn upwards. The waning phase, from the full moon back to the new moon, is a time for introspection and release. The moon's light diminishes, and the sap in plants is drawn downwards towards the roots. Understanding these basic phases is key to unlocking the magic of moon gardening. By aligning your gardening activities with the appropriate lunar phase, you can harness the moon's energy to support your plant's natural growth cycles. This harmonious approach can lead to healthier plants, more abundant harvests, and a deeper connection with the natural world. So let's explore each phase of the lunar cycle in detail. We'll uncover the best gardening practices for each phase, providing you with the knowledge to cultivate a thriving and abundant garden, guided by the moon's wisdom. The new moon marks the beginning of the lunar cycle. It is a time of darkness and dormancy, a time for rest and renewal. Just as we may feel a sense of quiet introspection during the new moon, so too does nature take a pause. During this phase, the moon's gravitational pull is at its weakest. The sap flow in plants is slow, and their energy is focused inward, on root development. This makes it an ideal time for planning and preparing your garden. The new moon is a favorable time for tasks that involve removing what is no longer serving your garden. Consider clearing debris, pulling weeds, and pruning dead or diseased plants. This cleansing ritual helps to create space for new growth in the coming weeks. While it's not the best time for planting, the new moon offers a chance to focus on soil health. Amend your soil with compost or manure, replenishing nutrients and improving its structure. This preparation will provide a fertile foundation for your future plantings as the lunar cycle progresses. As the moon begins to emerge from its darkness, a sliver of light appears in the sky, the waxing crescent moon. This phase marks a shift from rest to action, a time to plant the seeds of your gardening intentions. The waxing crescent moon is a time of increasing energy and upward movement. The sap in plants begins to rise, and their growth is focused on leaf and stem development. This makes it an ideal time to sow seeds for above-ground crops. Plants that thrive when planted during the waxing crescent moon include leafy greens like lettuce, spinach, and kale. Herbs such as basil, parsley, and cilantro also benefit from this lunar phase. As you plant your seeds, visualize the vibrant, healthy plants they will become. In addition to planting, the waxing crescent moon is a favorable time for grafting. The increased sap flow promotes successful unions between plants. It's also a good time to cultivate the soil, aerating it and improving drainage to support healthy root development. The first quarter moon illuminates half the sky, its energy building towards fullness. This phase represents growth and development, a time for nurturing the seeds you've sown and cultivating strength in your garden. During this phase, the moon's gravitational pull continues to increase, and the sap flow in plants is strong. This is an ideal time to plant seeds for crops that produce their fruits above ground, such as tomatoes, peppers, and beans. Transplanting seedlings is also favored during the first quarter moon. The robust sap flow helps plants establish themselves quickly in their new environment. As you tend to your garden, focus on providing adequate water and nutrients to support this period of rapid growth. The first quarter moon is also a favorable time for pest control. Applying organic pesticides during this phase can be more effective, as the upward movement of sap helps distribute the treatment throughout the plant. The waxing gibbous moon, a luminous presence in the night sky, signals a time of abundance and fruition. As the moon approaches its full glory, so too does the energy in your garden reach its peak. During this phase, the moon's gravitational pull is at its strongest, and the sap flow in plants is at its highest. This is an opportune time to plant seeds for root crops like carrots, potatoes, and beets. The downward pull of the sap encourages strong root development. The waxing gibbous moon is also an excellent time for fertilizing. Plants can readily absorb nutrients during this phase, maximizing their growth potential. Focus on providing your garden with the nourishment it needs to thrive. As you tend to your garden during this time of abundance, take a moment to appreciate the beauty and bounty around you. The waxing gibbous moon reminds us of the interconnectedness of all things and the cycles of growth and harvest that sustain us. The full moon, a celestial beacon illuminating the night, marks a time of culmination and celebration. It is a time to reap the rewards of your labor and harvest the fruits of your garden. During this phase, the moon's energy is at its most potent. The sap flow in plants is high and their flavors and aromas are at their peak. This makes it the ideal time to harvest fruits, vegetables, and herbs for maximum taste and potency. The full moon is also a favorable time for collecting seeds for next year's garden. Seeds harvested during this phase are believed to be imbued with the moon's powerful energy, leading to stronger and healthier plants. While the full moon is a time of abundance, it's not the best time for planting. The strong lunar energy can be overwhelming for young seedlings. Instead, focus on harvesting, preserving, and enjoying the fruits of your labor. As the full moon's light begins to wane, the waning gibbous moon emerges, inviting us to reflect on the abundance we've experienced. This is a time for pruning, tidying, and preparing the garden for the coming dormancy. During this phase, the moon's gravitational pull gradually weakens, and the sap flow in plants begins to slow down. This makes it an ideal time for pruning trees and shrubs. Pruning during the waning gibbous moon minimizes stress on plants and encourages healing. The waning gibbous moon is also a favorable time for transplanting root crops. The downward movement of sap helps roots establish themselves more easily. Additionally, this phase is suitable for dividing perennials, as the slower sap flow reduces stress on the plants. As you work in your garden during this time of reflection, take note of what thrived and what didn't. Observe the natural cycles of growth and decay, and use this knowledge to inform your gardening practices in the future. The third quarter moon, half lit and waning, signals a time for releasing what no longer serves us. In the garden, this translates to weeding, pest control, and addressing any imbalances. During this phase, the moon's gravitational pull continues to decrease, and the sap flow in plants slows down further. This makes it an ideal time to tackle those pesky weeds that compete with your desired plants for resources. Weeding during the third quarter moon is believed to be more effective, as the downward movement of sap makes it harder for weeds to re-establish themselves. Additionally, this phase is suitable for applying organic herbicides if needed. The third quarter moon is also an opportune time to address any pest or disease issues in your garden. The slower sap flow makes it easier to target and eliminate these unwanted visitors. The waning crescent moon, a sliver of light fading into darkness, marks the end of the lunar cycle. This is a time for rest, rejuvenation, and preparation for the cycle to begin anew. During this phase, the moon's gravitational pull is at its weakest, and the sap flow in plants is minimal. This makes it an ideal time for tasks that don't involve disturbing the soil or stressing the plants. The waning crescent moon is a favorable time for cleaning and sharpening gardening tools, repairing fences or trellises, and planning for the next planting season. It's also an opportune time to gather and spread mulch around your plants, providing insulation and protecting them from extreme temperatures. As the lunar cycle comes to a close, take a moment to reflect on the journey of your garden. Acknowledge the lessons learned, the challenges overcome, and the abundance you've harvested. Moon gardening is more than just a gardening technique. It's a way of life. It's about connecting with nature's rhythms, tuning into the subtle energies of the cosmos, and cultivating a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of all things. The benefits of moon gardening extend beyond the garden. By aligning ourselves with the lunar cycle, we tap into a natural rhythm that can bring balance and harmony to our lives. We become more attuned to the cycles of growth and rest, of giving and receiving. Moon gardening is a journey of discovery. It's an invitation to slow down, observe, and connect with the natural world in a profound way. It's about embracing the magic of the moon and allowing its wisdom to guide us towards a more abundant and fulfilling life. As you've discovered, moon gardening is a dance between ancient wisdom and modern practices. It's about working in harmony with nature's rhythms to create a thriving and abundant garden. Whether you're an experienced gardener or just starting, incorporating the lunar phases into your gardening practices can be a rewarding experience. It's a journey of discovery, a chance to deepen your connection with nature, and a testament to the enduring power of the moon. So why not embrace the magic of moon gardening? Experiment with planting by the lunar phases, observe the results, and see what unfolds. You may be surprised by the bounty that awaits you.